From Climate Pledge Arena here in the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington is ready to host the Pittsburgh Penguins as the Seattle Kraken take the ice and are set for this Monday afternoon matchup. Matty Beniers will face off against Sidney Crosby, and naturally Crosby wins the face-off when we are underway with an early turnover in center taken away by Seattle's Matty Beniers, who sends it to the far half wall. Jordan Eberle gets knocked down by Sidney Crosby, and the Pirates retain possession in their own end. Pittsburgh coming in 48-26. 26-17 and 5 as a shot is stopped by Joey Decord to get things started here in Seattle. (23-14) record for the Penguins as Capo Caco knocks it away, and Joey Decord with a blocker save. Taken away by Eberle on the near side. Here come the Kraken. First push of the game for Seattle. Eberle floats it inside, and Carlson takes it away for Pittsburgh. And here comes Sidney Crosby, who feeds it up to Rust. Rust, left wing circle, fires a shot, gloved down by Joey Decord, and he stops play. Pittsburgh already 3 shots on goal a couple minutes in. Seattle coming in 21-18, 51 points so far on the season. Pittsburgh wins the faceoff. Carlson has it blocked out in front by Tolvanen. Wotherspoon up top, couldn't get a clean shot off. Fleury there defensively takes it away. And Chandler Stevenson brings it up for the Kraken, and that's an offsides. So another early stoppage here in Seattle. Going to face off in center. Kraken 4-4-2 in their last 10 games. Tolvanen gets crunched at the blue line. Letang takes it away for Pittsburgh. Here come the Pirates. Novak leading the charge, looking for a center. Along the goal line, knocked away. Downstairs on the doorstep, denied by Decord. And Fleury takes it away for Seattle. Here comes Eeli Tolvanen up ahead with it for the Kraken. Tolvanen in the slot, whipped on the shot attempt. Brazeau takes it away from behind. Novak feeds it up to Letang. Letang to the inside, fires a shot saved by Joey Decord, and he stops play again. 5th shot on goal for Pittsburgh already to start this game, and Decord starts off strong. Face-off in the Seattle end, controlled by Pittsburgh. Evans takes it away on the far half wall. Here comes Wright. Patton will bring it up ahead for Seattle and then loses it just shy of the blue line. Gets it back. Seattle on the red line now. Alexiak can't handle it. Here comes Pittsburgh into the lane, and he couldn't miss. On it back into Sean, and Evans takes it away for Seattle, and Catton will exit the zone with the puck. Patton looking downstairs on the doorstep right, couldn't handle it. And an early chance there for Seattle goes for naught, and now a takeaway. Catton downstairs, McCann wide of the net. Oh, he was right on the doorstep, and now he's stuck in the goal, in between the goaltender. And St. Ivany will clear it for Pittsburgh, and that's going to be an icing. Good chance there for Seattle, their first chance at the game. Jared McCann right on the doorstep, just overskated it a little bit. And now we get a face-off in the Pittsburgh zone, controlled by Seattle. Shot blocked out in front, and a scramble for it on the left side. Centering pass intercepted by Shea. It's sitting in the slot, downstairs, taken away, and Pittsburgh gains control. And now another takeaway. Winterton denied by Silvas. First shot on goal for Seattle. Winterton loses the faceoff for Seattle. And Pittsburgh exits the zone. Around the net it comes. Adam Larsson, the big cat, gets there for Seattle. And Seattle gains control, bringing it through neutral ice. Winterton along the near half wall, looking for his center. Back behind the net, Winterton out in front. Denied. Ty Cartier, the shot there, back up to the point. Larsson can't handle it. And here comes Pittsburgh feeding it around the boards. Just over 5 minutes gone by, opening period, no score here from Seattle. Battle for it along the near half wall as it floats back behind the net for Adam Larsson. And now he turns it over into the slot, taken away by Larson again. And here comes Seattle. Numbers opportunity if they hurry, but an errant pass goes wide, and Pittsburgh takes over, allowing for a change for the Penguins. Carlson brings it up ahead, tried to scoot his way past Larson, who takes it away. Good job by Adam Larson, the big cat, who takes it away early. Now here comes Eli Tolvanen for the Kraken. Tolvanen with a whistle and an offsides on the Kraken. Second early offsides on Seattle. Still scoreless, 6 minutes in. Sidney Crosby checks back in for the Penguins. He loses the faceoff there to Stevenson. And Gaudreau to the other side, and Eli Tolvanen brings it in. Centering pass intercepted by Crosby, who turns it over. Fleury lets it fly, and it goes wide. Sidney Crosby gains control for Pittsburgh. Letang now loses it for a moment. And now Pittsburgh will get it out. Turnover in center. Fleury gives it right back to Pittsburgh. Rust will bring it up for the Penguins. Rust downstairs. Good defense there by Lindgren to take it away from behind. Picked over to the far half wall. Seattle gains control. Here's Tolvanen. 5 shots on goal to 1 in favor of Pittsburgh as Tolvanen feeds it in deep. Kulak now has it for Pittsburgh as they move it up to Mantha. Mantha, left wing circle, drops it off for Crosby. A shot blocked out in front. Scramble for it in the slot. Now back up to the point. Kulak, a backhanded try, is blocked out in front. Rizzo to the far side, taken away by Seattle and Fleury. Good defense. And now a turnover. Mantha into the slot, drops it off. Kulak couldn't get a shot off. And Pittsburgh maintains. Kulak whiffed on the shot. Here comes Beniers out in front. Potential jailbreak. Beniers cut off. Shot. Gloved down by Silvas. Defensive start to this game. 8 minutes gone by. Scoreless here in Seattle. Matty Beniers will face off for the Kraken against Novak. And the Kraken win it. Evans in the slot. Blocked out in front. And Pittsburgh turns it over. Beniers goes wide of the net. Witherspoon battles with Eberle behind the net now. Kicks to the near half wall, controlled by Carlson in Pittsburgh. Mantha loses it to Jamie Alexiak for a moment. Novak floats it towards DeCord, who swats it away. Seattle looking to set something up here as Eberle brings it and turns it over. Mantha with the interception, turns back for Pittsburgh. Shielded by Alexiak and taken away by Beniers in the slot. He turns it over. And now Pittsburgh on the attack, loses it. Jamie Alexiak, more defense. To the far half wall they fight. Capo Caco, there for the Kraken, feeds to Alexiak, and Eberle will bring it out of the zone. Jordan Eberle dangles, waits for help. Eberle floats it, and it's handled at the net. Here is Jared McCann behind the net. McCann looking to center it, tried to feed it up back to the point, and Rust intercepts that pass. And here comes Pittsburgh. Rust floats it up and turns it over to Adam Larson, who turns it right back over, and DeCord had to react at the last second to save it from going in the net. Just about halfway through this opening period, scoreless in Seattle. Seattle wins the draw halfway through the period now, being outshot 6-2 over Pittsburgh. Larson behind the net, turns it over to Sidney Crosby. Rust up the far side. Dangles, fires, DeCord swats it away, and Vince Dunn gains control for the Kraken, feeds it up to Catton. Shane Wright, Jared McCann into the slot, fires a shot blocked out in front by Shea, and Pittsburgh exits the zone. This might be an icing. And it will be. 9:10 to go, opening quarter. Scoreless here at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. Kraken trying to climb their way back up the standings. Pittsburgh currently second in their conference. Novak gains control in center ice for Pittsburgh. Feeds it in deep into the Kraken zone. And now the Kraken exit. This might be icing the other way, and it is. Icing on Seattle. 8:44 to go in the opening period. Seattle being outshot 7-2 against Pittsburgh. Shots on goal. Stevenson against Kindle in the Kraken zone. Seattle wins the faceoff. Eli Tolvanen will bring it up for the Kraken along the far side. Tolvanen centers himself, drops it up for Gaudreau. A shot, gloved down by Phillips. Here comes Kulak the other way for Pittsburgh. His first year with the Penguins. Centers it, and it's cut off by Cale Fleury. Battle for it along the far half wall. Fleury feeds it out to Winterton. Winterton up the far side looking for numbers. Inside Lindgren, a shot denied by Phillips. She loves another save. Fourth shot on goal for the Kraken. Now a face-off here in the Pittsburgh zone. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Evans lets it fly, tipped around and knocked down with the blocker of Shilevs. And Pittsburgh gets it out. And fed in, out of play. 7:41 to go, opening period, scoreless here in Seattle. Off to a good start defensively. Neither team has had more than a minute of puck time in the zone. Face-off in center, controlled by Seattle. Jordan Eberle, the veteran, brings it up. Looking for a center, drops it off Alexiak. Into the slot, Beniers couldn't handle it. Now back up to the point, and Alexiak. Here's Beniers. Now Evans drops it off for Beniers again, floats it towards the net, and Shilevs makes an easy save. 7:16 to go in the opening period. Face-off in the Pittsburgh end. Matty Beniers loses the face-off for the Kraken and takes it away, and now it floats back into the Seattle zone. Jamie Alexiak, first guy to it for the Kraken, circles his own net and feeds it out all the way down. This will be no icing. They wave it off. Capo Caco drops it off for Eberle, goes wide. Might have gotten a body out in front. Capo Caco on the wing, looking for a center, couldn't get it through. And here comes Pittsburgh back the other way, Mantha. 2-on-2 if they hurry, a shot. Blocker saved by Decore. And Evans controls the rebound for Seattle. Chandler Stevenson, now Gaudreau over to Tolvanen. Tolvanen loses the puck back into neutral ice. And now Vince Dunn with it for Seattle. Vince Dunn brings it back in, looking for a center. Loses the puck in the corner, and Mantha takes over for Pittsburgh. And now Novak the other way. Novak shielded by a number of Kraken. Stevenson on his horse. Mantha, a shot, gloved down by Decord. Good puck movement there by Pittsburgh, and Joey Decord off to a good start. Makes another save, and we're still scoreless. .534 to go in the opening period. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh. Rust into the slot, flips it to Decord, who gloves it down and stops play again. 10th shot on goal for Pittsburgh. And Joey Decord has held his ground to this point. Sidney Crosby against Shane Wright. And it's controlled by Seattle. Adam Larson up the far side, looking for McCann in the center. Couldn't get it to him, and Kulak takes it away for Pittsburgh. Rust brings it into the zone. Loses it on the near side, maintains control, and now turns it over to Shane Wright. Catton the other way, cross-ice pass, Jared McCann, back to Catton, inside, and a penalty call. And we're going to get our first power play of the game. It's a trip on Chris Letang. And a power play here for the Kraken. Wasn't much, but got the call. And our first penalty of the game sends Chris Letang to the penalty box. And now a man advantage here for the Kraken in this opening period. Matty Beniers will face off for Seattle. Pittsburgh wins the face-off. Carlson flips it out of the zone. And now Seattle will set up this man advantage, first of the night for both of these teams. Jordan Eberle up ahead quickly. Eberle drops it off. Beniers, a shot, blockered away. Stevenson controls the rebound, battle for it along the half wall. Witherspoon now joins the party with Eberle. DeWar turns it over. Beniers, good block out in front. And Pittsburgh able to exit the zone. Sends it hard around the boards. Chased down by Vince Dunn. Just over a minute to go in the power play. Good pass by Beniers. Jordan Eberle 2-on-2 if they hurry. Stevenson can't handle it. And offsides is the call. With 1:07 to go in the man advantage for Seattle. There's Capo Caco. 4 goals on the season for him. Just over a minute to go in the power play. Second penalty unit in for the Kraken. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh, and then he turns it over. Race for the puck. Seattle maintains it. Shane Wright drops it off. Can't handle as it comes to the near half wall, and Pittsburgh looks to get it out, but can't. Jared McCann floats it into the corner for Capo Caco. Caco battles out in front. Blocked by McCann. Right, the second try goes wide. Good effort there by Seattle. Caco behind the net. Drops it off Kirkatton. Can't handle it. Into the slot, back up top. Shane Wright, a shot goes wide off the body, out in front. Seattle on the attack. Evans floats it towards the net, and Schillups makes another save with 21 seconds to go on the power play. Good effort there by Seattle. They've taken over shots on goal, 12-10, and Schillups holds his ground with a couple excellent saves on that turn. 36% threat analysis, and a blocker saved by Schillups keeps it out of the net. And 21 more seconds to go in this power play for the Kraken. Face-off in the Pittsburgh end, controlled by Seattle. One-timer by Tolvanen off a body in front. I believe that was Rust who blocked the shot attempt. Pittsburgh can't get it out. Dunn to the inside, back to Dunn. Dunn downstairs, wide of the net. Stevenson gains control, intercepted in center, and we are back to full strength. Pittsburgh kills off the power play. So Seattle now 0 for 1 on the man advantage, back to full strength. Stevenson brings it up for the Kraken, fires a long shot, easy save by Schillups. And Carlson gets it out to Witherspoon, and now Letang, 2-on-1 if they hurry. Letang fires, saved by DeCorn. Stevenson has it for the Kraken, and he feeds it up to Eberle out of the zone. Tolvanen pestered. Cross-ice pass, Winterton. Winterton, the rookie, brings it in. Winterton, left wing circle, blocked down in front by Kindell. Battle for it along the far half wall. Winterton with Witherspoon. Eberle tried to come and save him, but Pittsburgh gets it out. Numbers if they hurry. Kindell to Letang, fires. Sticked aside by DeCord, and Seattle gains control. Ty Cartier. Winterton to Jordan Eberle. Stays on sides. Eberle can't handle it. Pittsburgh back the other way. 1 minute to go in the period. Kindell loses it in center and floats towards DeCord, who stops play. 51 seconds to go in this scoreless opening period from Seattle. Kindell will face off against Winterton. And Seattle wins the face-off, turns it over. Downstairs, out in front, Kindell, blocker saved by DeCord. The rebound controlled by Seattle. And they get it out of the zone. Joey DeCord holds his ground, and now here comes Winterton. Drops it off, Melanson, Ty Cartier, Lindgren fires a shot blockered away. And Seattle can't handle it. Letang behind his own net. And the Penguins turn it over. Winterton can't handle it. Pittsburgh maintains control. Final seconds wind down of this opening period. One final push if they hurry. Centering pass. Kindell blocked away by DeCord, and that'll do it for the first period of play. Scoreless after 1 in Seattle. These goaltenders playing with fire to start this game. Start of the second period here from Climate Pledge Arena. Scoreless after 1. 15 shots on goal for both of these teams, off to a good start. Defensive battle to this point. And the second period underway with the Penguins winning the faceoff. Rust brings it up the near side. Rust into the corner, good pass, but intercepted by Kaapo Kakko. And here he comes up the far side. Kakko looking for Beniers on the inside, drops it off on the trailer. Eberle gloved down by Schillups. Good attack there by Seattle to start the period. Jordan Eberle, 9 goals on the season. The veteran tried to make it 10 as Pittsburgh wins the faceoff here. Raquel feeds it up to Sidney Crosby. Back to Raquel. Raquel poked away, taken away, dropped down by DeCord, and Seattle wins the race for the puck on the far side. Here's Jordan Eberle. Eberle looking for Ty Cartier down low. Eberle along the goal line, takes it inside the backhand, tried denied. This one floats up in the air behind the net, and Wotherspoon gets there for Pittsburgh. Raquel now feeds it to the near side, and Rust. Rust poked away, maintained control. Rust, a long shot blockered away by DeCord. Had a free look at it. And the open lane on DeCord, who knocks it down. Here comes Jared McCann. McCann dangles, floats it up over the top of the net into the corner. Pittsburgh can't get it out for a moment. Kaapo Kakko battling with Rust. He wins the battle. Kaapo Kakko drops it off for Fleury. Tipped around out in front, and it goes wide. The far half wall. Battle for it, and Pittsburgh maintains control. Here's Raquel. Rust brings it into the front ice. Rust. Letang on the wing. Fires a shot. Gloved down by DeCord. 18th shot on goal for Pittsburgh. And DeCord stops another one. Face off in the Seattle zone, controlled by the Kraken. Gaudreau pestered, turns it over. Brazeau fires, blockered away by DeCord. Good effort. Now Shea lets it fly, blocked out in front by Gaudreau. And here come the Kraken. Ellie Tolvanen dangles, fires, saves. Schillups stops play. Which team will break through first? 16:53 to go in the second, scoreless in Seattle. Face off in the Pittsburgh end, controlled by the Penguins. Brazeau brings it up, looking for a center. Novak fires, blockered away by DeCord. Novak maintains control. Mantha a shot downstairs, and DeCord holds his ground. 16:33 to go in the second. And Joey DeCord continues to be a brick wall for the Kraken. Pittsburgh wins the face-off. Here's a shot blocked down in front, goes to the far side. Mantha battles with Alexiak. Now Melanson over to help him out. Winterton out in front. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Winterton couldn't get a clean one off. Rebound almost went in. Ty Cartier into the center, intercepted by Kindell. And here comes Pittsburgh back the other way. Koivunen fires, kicked away, rebound, score! Shea on the follow-up. And Pittsburgh breaks the ice. Good kick save initially by DeCord, just couldn't get back in time. Seattle didn't have anybody to the right side of DeCord, and Shea puts it in to put Pittsburgh in front 1-0. Good kick save initially by DeCord, just couldn't get back in time. Alexiak was out of position. Winterton was back there defensively as well for Seattle, and Pittsburgh breaks through 1-0. Pittsburgh wins the faceoff after the goal, and then they turn it immediately over to Jamie Alexiak. Now Catton on the other side. He turns it over in center ice. And Pittsburgh brings it back the other way. Here's Letang. Letang looking for a center, goes back behind the net. Back up to the point. And McCann with good defense takes it away. Here comes Jared McCann, pestered from behind. Good defense there by Pittsburgh. Jared McCann takes it away again. Just over 5 minutes gone by in this second period. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Catton back behind the net to Shane Wright. Out in front, McCann. Back in to try is blocked by Dewar. And Pittsburgh takes it away. Kulak on the wing. Fires, saved by Decor. 14:29 to go in the second. Face-off controlled by Seattle in their own end. Gaudreau exits the zone for the Kraken. Here's Chandler Stevenson. Stevenson fires, blockered away. Comes to the near side. Stevenson out in front. Tolvanen couldn't get a clean shot off. Stevenson out in front. Gaudreau! What a stop by Schillups. 14 to play in the second period, and Schillups continues to hold his ground on 22 shots on goal. Stevenson wins the faceoff for the Kraken. Lindgren to Tolvanen, fires, blockered away by Schillups. Comes to the near side, battle for it along the near half wall, floats back into the trapezoid. Now to the far half wall, Kendall gets crunched by Gaudreau, and Tolvanen keeps it alive for the Kraken. Flurry on the point, Pester, Tolvanen, Lindgren, into the slot, fires one blocked out in front, hack and whack in the middle for a moment, and Pittsburgh maintains possession. Chinnikov into the slot, drops it off. Koivunen floats it up over the top of the net. Lindgren gets there for Seattle in the corner, knocks him down, no penalty. Stevenson now gets crunched. And we play on here with a couple hard contacts. Good stick there by Stevenson. Chandler Stevenson turns it over to Shea. Sidney Crosby back in the game as Pittsburgh changes again as it floats back deep. 12:23 and counting to go. Second period, 1-0 Pittsburgh, with their one goal coming just a few minutes ago. Russ turns it over to Fleury at the red line. Chandler Stevenson backtracks. Pestered by Crosby. Stevenson survives. Jordan Eberle crosses the red line. Eberle with a head of steam, takes it downstairs, drops it off, and a shot staved by Schillups. Good effort there by Jordan Eberle and company. And Schillups holds his ground again. 24 shots on goal and nothing for Seattle. Matty Beniers will face off and win it. Dunn blocked out in front. Beniers downstairs. Beniers not denied by Schillups, and Pittsburgh survives that push. Brazeau has it taken off by the big cat. Adam Larson turns it over. Letang offsides. Seattle's had their chances in this game, just haven't been able to capitalize. The latest from Matty Beniers on the doorstep. 11:19 to go in the second. Kulak with a penalty called on Seattle, going to get an empty net, and there's the whistle, and Pittsburgh will now get their first power play of the game on a cross check, it looks like, from Capo Caco. Yep, right in the middle of the back. Easy call for the officials. Capo Caco will go to the penalty box, and Pittsburgh has a man advantage here in Seattle, to the crowd's displeasure. 2-minute penalty. Power play for Pittsburgh, leading 1-0. Novak off the face-off win. Sidney Crosby will race it into the corner. Crosby intercepted by Gaudreau, and Seattle gets it out of the zone. Good start defensively for the Kraken. Carlson pestered by Stevenson and the back guys. Here's Sidney Crosby. Crosby has it poked away by Lindgren, and Seattle will clear the zone again. Carlson resets. Sidney Crosby to the near side, and Raquel. Rust lets it fly from distance. Lindgren walks it out in front, and Seattle gains control in their own end and feed it out of the zone once more. Just over a minute to go on the man advantage. Seattle wins the race for the puck. Melanson cracking up ahead shorthanded. Alexiak to Lindgren. Lindgren whiffed on the shot attempt. Here comes Pittsburgh back the other way. Seattle trying to get back. Carlson surrounded by Kraken. Drops it off for Kendall and intercepted on the inside by Lindgren. Cartier can't exit. Brazeau back into the slot. Alexiak takes it away and feeds it up and out of the zone. 30 seconds to go in the man advantage. Aggressive penalty kill here by Seattle. Chinnikov. Inside diving attempt, saved by DeCord. What a try, and Seattle clears the zone. What an effort there on the inside. And now maybe one final push here. Back to full strength, the Kraken. Brazeau looking for a center. Drops it off, can't handle it. Goes to the far side. Seattle kills the penalty. Carlson tipped around, and DeCord blockers it away. And Jamie Alexiak gains control for Seattle. Here's Ty Cartier. So both teams 0 for 1 on the penalty now, as Cartier whiffs on the shot attempt, and Carlson takes it away. Brazeau taken away by Dunn on the inside. 8:20 to go in the second. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Jordan Eberle on the far side, taken off his stick by Carlson. Carlson, now Brazeau. Brazeau whiffs. Brazeau now gets it back, and DeCord somehow found it. And Seattle gains control in their own end, and they'll exit the zone. Here's Adam Larsson. Larsson intercepted in center by Mantha. He brings it back in for Pittsburgh. Mantha, a shot, blocker down by DeCord. And Seattle maintains control again. Here's Winterton. Winterton along the near side. Head and steam out in front. Winterton, Eberle whiffed. And it goes to the far side. Mantha cut off by Cartier. Larsson now has it at the red line. Winterton brings it into the zone. He loses it. Back into neutral ice. Seattle has to reset. Eberle back in for the Kraken. He can't handle it. And now this one floats into neutral ice, and here comes Pittsburgh back the other way. Mantha up top. Mantha tried to center it. Good defense there by Seattle. Ty Cartier back the other way. Cartier waiting for his friends to come. Drops it off for Eberle as it floats to the far half wall. Lizotte and Eberle battle for it in the corner. Carlson over to change it out. Watch out, turnover. McCann can't finish. Good save. McCann takes it inside again. One-timer by Cartier denied. And it goes to the far side and floats towards Shilvis, who stops play. Another good look there for Seattle, and they couldn't capitalize. 6:03 to go in the second. Here's that look right there on that power play. The diving attempt on the inside would have been absolutely insane if that one went in. Then on the other side, just moments ago, Ty Cartier's one-timer denied by Shillis. Lizotte will battle against Wright here. Face-off in the Pittsburgh end. Controlled by the Kraken. Alexiak couldn't get a clean shot off. St. Ivany back the other way for Pittsburgh, sends it around the boards. Shane Wright. 5:40 to go in the second. Wright looking for a center, takes it into the slot. Catton on the doorstep, denied the rebound, can't get through. And Pittsburgh back the other way. Lizotte nearly turned it over. Pittsburgh keeps it alive, and now they turn it over. Shane Wright off sides. He couldn't handle it. And he had a step if he held that cleanly. 5:17 to go. Good cutoff there by Vince Dunn defensively. .5:17 to go in the second. Still 1-0 Pittsburgh. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh in center. And now taken away by Seattle. Catton downstairs, denied by Shillis. Floats to the near side, kept in for Seattle for a moment. Russ battles for it along the near side. Seattle kicks it back deeper into the zone, and they take it away. Shane Wright can't handle it. Russ takes it away for Pittsburgh. Now a battle for it again, and now it floats out of the zone for the Penguins. Capo Caco almost turned it over. Melanson now has it in neutral ice. He keeps it alive. Melanson, surrounded by Penguins, turns it over. Here's Sidney Crosby. Cut off by Cale Fleury. And Capo Caco gains control of the puck, feeds it up to Melanson. Penguins change. Melanson feeds it in deep, chases it down. Shea takes it away for Pittsburgh, and now Shane Wright for Seattle. Wright downstairs, cut off by St. Ivany. And Seattle turns it over again. Here's Kendall. Kendall into the slot. Poked away, and Beniers gets it and flips it out of the zone. Seattle avoiding disaster again. Now a takeaway by Jordan Eberle. Eberle looking for a center. Drops it off. McCann dangles, fires, and it's blocked out in front. Novak back the other way here for Pittsburgh. Feeds it up to Dewar. Dewar, long shot. Sticked aside by Decor. Novak down low. Floats it back up to the point. Letang lets it fly. Glove down by Decor. What a snare. With 2:52 to go in the second period. He had an open lane, and Joey Decor snares it out of the air to maintain a 1-0 lead. Now a face-off in the Seattle end. Controlled by Pittsburgh. Wotherspoon to Carlson. Back to Wotherspoon. Downstairs, the tip try denied by Decor. Battleford along the far half wall. Seattle look to maintain control, but they can't. Out in front, a whiff in the slot. Now a long shot kicked away by Decor. Puck's loose, and Stevenson cuts it off back behind the net. And now an intercept by Vince Dunn. Good defense there by Seattle. Maintains their composure. Chinnikov downstairs, blocked out in front by Adam Larson. Ellie Tolvanen gets crunched along the near half wall. And it floats into the corner where Seattle maintains control. Vince Dunn turns it over. Carlson lets it fly, and it nearly snuck through, but Decor holds his ground. And now back behind the net, Vince Dunn battles for it in the trapezoid. And Seattle gains control, and Larson feeds it up to Gaudreau. And now here comes Ellie Tolvanen as Seattle changes, and Wotherspoon takes it away. Lizotte looking for a center, takes it downstairs behind the net, out in front. Brazeau couldn't get a clean one off. And here comes Melanson with under a minute to go in the period. Melanson keeps it alive, looking for a center. Melanson out in front, the one-timer goes wide, and Capo Caco is stuck in the corner. Takes it to the far side where Letang gets there for Pittsburgh. 35 seconds to go in the period. Rust cut off by Larson, who takes it away. Melanson turns back for the Kraken. Melanson looking for a drop-off. Capo Caco denied by Shillovs. Winterton into the corner. Taken away by Brazeau with 10 seconds to go. One final push here for Pittsburgh. Brazeau dangles, feeds it out in front. Penalty called on Seattle. It's a tripping call with 4 seconds to go on Vince Dunn. And there it was right there. So this penalty will carry over into the third period, assuming Pittsburgh doesn't score in the next 4 seconds. Second power play for Pittsburgh. They're 0 for 1. Seattle wins the faceoff and will send us to the third period here at Climate Pledge Arena. Just a 1-0 Pittsburgh lead, but they have a power play on the other side. End of 2, 1-0. Penguins on top here in Seattle. Start of the third period here in Seattle. 1-0 Pittsburgh, and the Penguins have a power play to start the period with a 1-0 advantage. It's been a defensive battle. Pittsburgh the only team to break through, and now they got a man advantage here for the first couple minutes of the third. Battle for it along the benches as it floats back into the Seattle end. Lindgren wins the race for the puck. As it goes into neutral ice again, Seattle gets it out of the zone. And Alexiak now feeds it up to Stevenson, shorthanded for the Kraken, feeds it in around the boards. Mantha gets there for Pittsburgh. And Raquel can't handle it as it goes back And now Stevenson shorthanded around the net. Out in front, Tolvanen couldn't get a clean one off. And now Tolvanen gets it back, and Shillovs gloves it down. Echo, I'll get right on that. These two goaltenders have been very good in this game. Pittsburgh, the only team to break through early in that second period. Joey Daccord, 33 saves in this game. Just the one goal on the great play off the rebound by Pittsburgh. 1-0 our score, 1 minute to go in the power play. Controlled by Seattle. Shorthanded Evans flips it just wide of the net, and Pittsburgh maintains control. Cross-ice pass, stays on sides. Brazeau to the other side. Novak, a shot blocked up front by Evans. Beautiful play, and now here come the Kraken, and he feeds it in deep. Back behind the net, Shillovs. Sends it around to Brazeau. 30 seconds to go in the man advantage. Battle for it along the near side. Seattle wasting time as it floats back to Adam Larson. And Larson feeds it out of the zone again. And now Novak will bring it back in. Novak to Brazeau. Downstairs, Kindle back in and try, denied by Daccord. Into the trapezoid, Kindle trapped. Melanson gets it for Seattle, feeds it out of the zone. And the Kraken are going to kill their second penalty of the game. Back to full strength come the Kraken. In the trapezoid, Letang wins the battle. And here come the Penguins. Back the other way. Shinnikov fires, saved by Daccord. The rebound is controlled by Seattle. And it floats back into the corner for Evans. And now Catton with it for Seattle. Still trailing 1-0. Catton tried to center it to Beniers. Couldn't get a clean pass off, and Kulak takes it away for Pittsburgh. Dunn with the intercept in center. Matty Beniers brings it up for the Kraken. He loses it for a moment. Now down low to Catton. Centering pass intercepted by Letang. He was looking for Matty Beniers on the doorstep. Here's Sidney Crosby. Crosby cut off by Evans. Now Matty Beniers across the blue line. Beniers loses it to Letang. Neither team able to hold the possession for very long. Back and forth down the ice we come. Sidney Crosby whips on the pass. Crosby now gets it to Mantha. It's blocked out in front by Beniers. Crosby downstairs to Mantha. And Larson takes it away for Seattle for a moment. Now Daccord finds the puck. Face off in the Seattle end, controlled by Shane Wright. And the Kraken exit the zone, Jared McCann. McCann tripped, that's a penalty. And Seattle's going to go to the man advantage here, trailing 1-0. Their second power play of the game. What up, Eichel Productions? This is my first NHL game that I've done in a long time, so I kind of feel like I sound like shit. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh. Turned over, McCann downstairs to right. Seattle on the doorstep, taken away by Shea. Now battle for it on the far side, Capo Caco. Done. And Shea to Lazote will feed it out of the zone. Back behind the net, race for the puck controlled. Tolvanen is there. Pittsburgh doing a good job to waste time right here. Lazote poked away by Daccord as he tried to send it in downstairs. And Shane Wright will feed it out. And here comes Seattle. Jared McCann fires, broke his stick, and Shillovs finds it. So we've had 3 power plays in this game. This is the 4th. So far, both of these teams are 0 for 3. Pittsburgh 0 for 2. Seattle 0 for 1 in the middle of their second. Seattle wins the faceoff. Dunn tried to turn around into the slot, turns it over, and Pittsburgh feeds it out of the zone. Moving it up top. Here's Chandler Stevenson, Matty Beniers. Beniers poked away, and Pittsburgh gains control again, and now they'll try to bring it up shorthanded with 49 seconds left on the penalty. Stevenson takes it back. Here's Eberle. Jordan Eberle dangles, drops it off for Stevenson. A shot glove down. The rebound goes into the corner. Stevenson back up top. Alexiak fires and it's saved. Goes into the corner. Alexiak gets his own rebound. Floats back up towards the point and Tolvanen. Tolvanen maintains possession. Back up top. Eberle on the wing. Beniers fires, saved, and it goes into the corner. Pittsburgh gains control, looking to get it out, and they can. It's an offsides. 8 seconds to go on the penalty. Face off in center with 8 seconds left on the man advantage for the Kraken. Controlled by Seattle. Final seconds wind down. Back to full strength. Catton drops it off. Evans, score! Right as the penalty expires, it's Shane Wright on the deflection, and Seattle has tied it. Beautiful tip out in front. Evans lets it fly, and Shane Wright the redirection. And Seattle ties us at 1 apiece. Right there goes top shelf. Beautiful. And we're tied at 1, and Climate Pledge Arena is back in action in the Emerald City. Seattle wins the face-off, brings it right back in, and then they turn it over. So brand new game as Cartier brings it in. As it floats to the near side, Ty Cartier wins the race for the puck. On the point, long shot goes wide. Kept in, no. Watch out. Brazeau with the jailbreak, trying to be cut off into Cord. Gloves it down. With 13:15 to go in the third. Face off in the Seattle end, controlled by the Kraken. Here's Melanson. Melanson, the centering pass intercepted by Carlson. Good defense there by Pittsburgh. Here's Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon taken off his stick by Fleury. Melanson hit at the red line, but not out. Melanson to Cartier in the inside, taken away by Carlson. Here's Raquel. Raquel feeds it in around the boards. Race for the puck, controlled by Lindgren and Seattle. Here comes Jared McCann, who has it deflected into Pittsburgh's grasp. Kendall along the red line. Tried to turn it up, taken away by Ty Cartier. He's cut off by Chinnikov, and Wotherspoon now has it for Pittsburgh. Back up top, Raquel, cut off by McCann along the benches. Floats to the far side. Fleury, behind the net, looking for a center, drops it off for Gaudreau on the wing. Now Gaudreau works it down low, looking for a center. Gaudreau dangles, inside, denied, and the rebound goes behind the net. Jared McCann to Cartier. Cartier, one-timer tipped around and controlled by Schillups. What a look for Seattle and a chance to take the lead. And Schillups has made a couple saves that have been very good on the inside. .11-12 to go in regulation. Face-off controlled by Seattle. Alexiak one-timer cut off on the outside, and he keeps it in. Works it downstairs, controlled by Beniers. Now Shea takes it off his stick, and Pittsburgh exits the zone. Chinnikov sends it around. Evans there for the Kraken. Up top, Matty Beniers working with Eberle. Beniers to Eberle. Now Alexiak blocked out in front. Sidney Crosby gets there for Pittsburgh. Here is Novak. Kendall has it poked away. Race for the puck. Jordan Eberle. Head of steam out in front. Eberle fires. Saved by Schillups behind the net. Eberle feeds it to Stevenson. Down low to Eberle. Couldn't handle it. Halfway through this third period in a tie game at 1. Kendall feeds it around the boards. And Vince Dunn is there for the Kraken. Watch out in front. Nearly turned it over in a dangerous spot. And Tolvanen has defeated to Vince Dunn. Eberle to the near side and Tolvanen. Head of steam out in front. Tolvanen tried to drop it off. Good defense there by Pittsburgh. Here comes Carlson. Carlson comes to the near wing, centering pass intercepted by Evans. Carlson keeps it in the zone for Pittsburgh. Novak battles along the boards. On the point, Carlson, long shot tipped into the grasp of Joey DeCord, who stops play with 8:54 to go in the third in a 1-1 game. Face off in the Seattle end. Lizotte wins the draw. Kulak. Dewar kicked away by DeCord, goes into the corner. On the wing, back up top to the point. Letang tipped around and DeCord saves it again. 8:38 to go in the third. Face off again in the Seattle end. 8:38 to go. Won by Pittsburgh. Into the slot. Saved by DeCord. And Adam Larson controls the rebound. Gets it out of the zone. Jared McCann. Back behind the net. Centering pass intercepted by Letang. Intercepted now in center by Vince Dunn. Shane Wright loses it to Letang. And here comes Pittsburgh back the other way. Lizotte tried to get around Larson. Takes it away. Shane Wright weaving his way through. Centering pass intercepted, and Pittsburgh back the other way. Sends it around the boards deep. Larson, first guy to it for Seattle. Catton gets crunched, but feeds it to Wright. Wright working with McCann, 3-on-2, and controlled by Pittsburgh. Kulak circles his own net. Crosby up ahead. Sidney Crosby cut off, taken away by Seattle. A lot of turnovers here in this stretch. Winterton backtracks. Winterton now loses it, and another turnover. Kulak takes it away for Pittsburgh under 7 minutes to play in regulation. Crosby poke checked, and Fleury gains control for the Kraken. Winterton up top, looks to the far side. Turnover, Kapokako. Inside to Winterton, a shot, gloved down by Schillips. 6:13 to go in the third. That was a long back and forth there. 6:13 to go in the third, tied at 1. Face-off kind of sat there for a moment, but it's controlled by Seattle. Fleury to Lindgren, a shot. Schillips saves. 6:01 to go. Face-off in the Pittsburgh end, controlled by Seattle. On the point, it's Fleury. Lets it fly. Stick to side by Schillips. And Pittsburgh gets it out of the zone. This might be icing. It will not be. They wave it off. Russ down low. Taken away by Kapokako. Kako feeds it up ahead. Matty Beniers. Head of steam. Beniers fires. Saves. Schillips. 5:27 to go. Shots on goal. Dead even at 43. Tied at 1. Who will break through down the stretch? Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh. Rust dangles, sends it towards DeCord, who will cover. 5:12 to go in the third, another stoppage. Face-off control by Winterton, the rookie, against Sidney Crosby. Evans gets knocked down and nearly turned it over. Cartier there to save the day under 5 minutes to go in regulation. Shea back behind his own net. That deflected off the side of the net, and Pittsburgh able to keep it alive. Crosby, Melanson now tie Cartier into the zone for Seattle. Button hooks back and sends it towards the net. Schillips flips it aside, and Pittsburgh gains control out of the zone. Raquel through center. Raquel dangles, waits for help, into the inside. Crosby on the doorstep, denied by DeCord. 4:11 to go in regulation. Face-off control by Seattle. Ellie Tolvanen through center. Tolvanen looking for the center. Back behind the net. Wrap around. Whiffed on the inside, and Gaudreau keeps it alive. Alexiak loses it to Brazeau, and here comes Pittsburgh. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Brazeau poked away by Alexiak. Seattle gets back. Good defense there by Jamie Alexiak. Brazeau back behind the net, cut off by Stevenson. Under 3.5 to go in regulation. Here's Tolvanen. Tolvanen dangles, waits for help, sends it around the board. Stevenson in the trapezoid. Floats to the far half wall. Pittsburgh is there, and Novak. 3 minutes to go as they exit the zone. Cut off by Larson. Vince Dunn. Gaudreau sends it, tried to send it up anyway, and Brazeau with a good cutoff there. Hindle back the other way for Pittsburgh. Dangles, sends it to the far half wall. Shinnikov crunched. Stevenson gets it in the trapezoid. Under 2.5 to go in regulation. Stretch pass to Tolvanen. He waits for help to come. Tolvanen centers. Dunn a shot off a body in front. Shinnikov gets crunched, but Pittsburgh gets it out of the zone. Hindle. Wotherspoon sends it towards the court, kicks it away, and Larson gains it in the slot. Here comes Jared McCann. Under 2 minutes to go in regulation. Wotherspoon takes it off his stick. Pittsburgh back the other way. Defensive battle coming down to the final couple minutes. Catton takes it away. Downstairs right, denied. The rebound out in front, goes wide. And Dwar gets it here for Pittsburgh, and they exit the zone. Big hit behind the play. Raquel centers to Kulak, a shot, gloved down by DeCord, and the rebound goes back into neutral ice. Seattle gains control with just over a minute to go. Vince Dunn brings it up for Seattle, sends it towards the net, knocked away. McCann down low, takes it inside, denied. Rebound in the slot, tipped in by Seattle. Flurry, Kako into the corner. Kako cut off by Raquel, who takes it away. 2-on-2 back the other way. 40 seconds to go. Raquel taken away by Fleury. 35 seconds and counting. Seattle back the other way. Shane Wright. Wright to Kako. Kako centers, intercepted by Kulak. And Pittsburgh maintains control. 25 seconds to go in regulation. Watch out here. Turnover. McCann looking for a center. One-timer denied by Schillups. 19 seconds left. Back and forth down the ice we go. Beniers will face off for the Kraken. And Pittsburgh maintains control. Turnover. Eberle downstairs. Inside Beniers. Couldn't finish. And Schillup saves another with 12 seconds to go. Twelve seconds left. Face off in the Pittsburgh end. Controlled by the Kraken. Flurry fires. Saved by Schillups. Pittsburgh gains control. Turnover. Kako couldn't get a clean one off. Beniers downstairs on the doorstep. Saved by Schillups with 2 seconds to play. Seattle on the attack in the final seconds. And now they'll have one more shot at it if they can win the face-off. Beniers against Lizotte. Controlled by Seattle. One final shot. Lindgren couldn't even get it off. And each team has secured 1 point in the standings. We are headed to overtime at Climate Pledge Arena. Sudden death, I should say, coming up after this. We head to overtime in Seattle. Both of these goaltenders have been excellent, giving up just one goal. 48 shots on goal for Seattle, 46 for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will get a chance first, the ever so important first possession here in overtime. Sidney Crosby, Carlson feeds it around the board. Seattle gains control. And here comes Matty Beniers. Potential numbers. Beniers couldn't handle it, turns it over. Raquel back the other way for Pittsburgh. Raquel fires, saved by DeCord, and he'll stop play. 4:19 to go in the overtime period. One shot on goal in overtime for Pittsburgh. Face off in the Seattle end. Controlled by Seattle. Jared McCann feeds it up ahead. Good intercept by Novak in center. Turns back for Pittsburgh. Mantha to Carlson. Whipped on the shot attempt, and it stays in. Carlson fires. Glove down by Joey DeCord. Both of these goaltenders have been brick walls in this game. Which team will break through in overtime to get the win? Pittsburgh's been on the attack almost this entire overtime period to this point. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh. On the point, Letang. Into the slot, Mantha. Backhanded try, saved by DeCord. The rebound, and it goes wide. Seattle trying to get it out of the zone. They can't. Letang to the inside of Novak. Now down on the doorstep, Mantha couldn't get a clean one off. And DeCord stops another one. Seattle trying to get it to the other side of the ice here. Pittsburgh on the attack to start this overtime period. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh. Letang, kicked away at the last second by DeCord. And another stoppage, 3:22 to go in overtime. Face-off again, controlled by Pittsburgh. Letang lets it fly, and what a swipe by DeCord! It nearly leaked through, and he saves it from going in. Now here come the Kraken, Tolvanen. Couldn't get around Letang, and Pittsburgh right back the other way. Under 3 minutes to go in overtime. Novak looking for a center, fires it. Easy glove save by DeCord. 2:49 to go. Joey DeCord swiped back at that one as it nearly leaked through. 2:49 to go. Face-off controlled by Seattle this time. Eli Tolvanen brings it up. Tried to work his way around. Gets through. Tolvanen centering to right. And he couldn't get a clean one off. Good save by Schillips. And here comes Pittsburgh back the other way. Crosby to Raquel. 2-on-1. Raquel dangles downstairs. Crosby. Cut off by Vince Dunn. In the trapezoid, they fight Raquel. Back up top, Carlson. Now Crosby with it. Crosby to Raquel on the near side. Raquel to Crosby, turns it over, floats out of the zone. Pittsburgh will win the race for the puck. 2 minutes to go in overtime. Good crunch along the boards. Eli Tolvanen wins the battle. Here come the Kraken. Vince Dunn brings it up. Dunn tried to center it. Raquel cuts it off. And Pittsburgh back the other way. Sidney Crosby, jailbreak. Crosby, one-on-one. Denied by DeCord. The rebound controlled by Seattle. And now here comes Eberle. Back the other way. Eberle gets hit, stays alive, and it's denied by Schillips. 1 minute to go in overtime. Back and forth we go. Shea feeds it up to Rust. He's got a jailbreak. Rust denied by DeCord, who stops play again. 53 seconds to play. These two goaltenders putting on a show. Oh my goodness. Both ends of the ice seeing so much action for both of these goaltenders. Who will break through? We're under a minute to go in overtime. Face off in the Seattle end. Controlled by Seattle. A push here for the Kraken, Jared McCann. Looking for the center. Couldn't handle it, Matty Beniers. 45 seconds to go. Loose puck controlled by Pittsburgh. Here comes Rust. Rust sets it up to Shea. On the outside, Shea back up top to Rust. Rust downstairs, glove down by Joey DeCord again. 33 seconds to play. Another face-off here in the Seattle end. Controlled by Pittsburgh. Rust fires, saved by DeCord again. 28 seconds to go. Joey DeCord. .28 seconds to go in the overtime period. Faceoff controlled by Seattle. McCann can't handle it. Loose puck in center, controlled by Pittsburgh for a moment. Kick back, and a race for the puck is controlled by Novak. Beniers doing a good job here. 15 seconds in overtime. A turnover. Beniers up top to Lindgren. Can't handle it. And now potential jailbreak. Mantha brings it in. Off the goalpost with 5 seconds left. Beniers controls for Seattle, and we're going to a shootout. What a game from Seattle. And we need a shootout to decide it. Hard hitting, tough goaltending, and a post to boot sends us to the shootout. So it comes down to a shootout between these two unstoppable goaltenders. Raquel will start for Pittsburgh. And here he comes, working on Decor. Raquel scores! And Pittsburgh gets the early advantage in the shootout. Goes left to right and fires it past Joey Decor. And Pittsburgh takes the advantage on the shootout. And now it'll be the turn of the veteran, Capo Caco. Caco brings it in. Left side score! The answer. And we're even in the shootout. Beautiful dangle by Capo Caco. Off the inside of the post and in. And now Pittsburgh with another answer. Sidney Crosby against Decor. And he gets denied by Joey Decor. And now on the shoulders, Jared McCann. McCann, stop, no, score! McCann puts it in. I thought it was stopped, it snuck through. And now they have to make it. Kendall brings it up. Kendall missed it. And Seattle wins in the shootout. A masterclass by Joey Decor, grittying his way to his teammates. What a game from Seattle. A defensive gem put on by both of these teams. These two goaltenders were outstanding. And the Seattle Kraken outlast the Pittsburgh Penguins in the shootout. Very entertaining, low-scoring game from Climate Pledge Arena. The Seattle Kraken win it in the shootout.